Amanda looked at herself in the mirror one last time before heading out. The navy blue dress, bought at a sale after months of saving, wasn't designer like the ones the other girls would wear, but it fit well on her slender frame. Her brown hair, usually tied up in a messy ponytail during classes, now cascaded over her shoulders in soft waves. A nervous smile danced on her lips. "It's just a party," she murmured to herself, but her racing heart said otherwise. It was the first time Nicholas Thompson, the heir to the wealthiest family in town, had invited her to one of his legendary events. Amanda Kelly wasn't the type of girl who attended the university elite's parties. Raised in a modest neighborhood by a single mother who worked 2 jobs, she had secured her spot at the prestigious university through scholarships and countless sleepless nights studying. The dedication that had brought her there, however, also made her an easy target. "Amanda, you are so smart. Could you help me with this work? I'm completely lost," was what she heard almost daily from Vanessa, Caroline, and other girls in Nicholas's group. And Amanda, longing for acceptance, always said yes. At the same university, Emmett Parker observed everything from afar. Also a scholarship student, the son of a mechanic and a nurse, he divided his time between classes and shifts as a waiter at luxury events to supplement the family income. Emmett noticed how Amanda stayed late in the library, finishing assignments that weren't even hers, how she smiled shyly when they received a hasty "thank you," how she kept her own feelings to herself. "It's not my problem," he told himself as he watched her carrying books for Vanessa. "I'm here to graduate, not to be anyone's hero." But there was something about Amanda that intrigued him. Perhaps the way she always sat in the front rows of the classroom, absorbing every word from the professors with genuine interest, or how her eyes lit up when she talked about literature during the rare times she spoke in class. The night of the party arrived with the typical freshness of early autumn. The Thompson mansion gleamed at the top of the hill, its windows spilling light over the immaculate gardens. Luxury cars formed a line at the entrance, dropping off elegant young people whom Amanda only knew from the university corridors. She got out of the taxi, clutching the small purse against her body like a shield. Her feet, unaccustomed to the heels she was wearing, wobbled slightly on the path to the entrance. The music was already throbbing when she entered, feeling immediately like an intruder in a world that was not her own. "Amanda! You came!" Nicholas suddenly appeared, tall and confident in his casual blazer that probably cost more than 3 months of her rent. "Come, I want to introduce you to some people." In another corner of the room, Emmett was adjusting his bow tie, preparing for another night working as a waiter. He didn't expect to see Amanda there, but he wasn't surprised. What bothered him was Nicholas's artificial smile and the looks he exchanged with his friends as he led her by the arm. While serving glasses of champagne, Emmett caught snippets of conversations. "Did she really believe we wanted to be her friends?" Vanessa whispered, laughing behind her glass. "The plan is perfect. After everything she drank, it's going to be hilarious when we spill." Ryan's voice, another friend of Nicholas, was swallowed by the music. Emmett felt his stomach churn. Over the past hour, he had seen Nicholas and his friends surrounding Amanda, repeatedly filling her glass, discreetly filming with their phones. The girl, unaccustomed to alcohol, was already showing clear signs of intoxication. Laughter too loud, uncoordinated gestures. "It's not my problem," he repeated mentally, serving other tables, but his mother's words echoed in his mind. Staying silent in the face of evil is being complicit with it. When he saw Nicholas putting something in a glass before handing it to Amanda with a predatory smile, something inside him broke. Amanda felt strangely light, as if she were floating on a warm cloud. All those people who hardly noticed her in the university halls now seemed so interested in what she had to say. Nicholas was especially attentive, always ensuring her glass was full. "To the smartest girl in the class," he toasted, handing her another glass of champagne. Amanda didn't notice the stifled laughter around her, nor the cell phones pointed in her direction. The world spun gently, the lights seemed brighter, and a small voice at the back of her mind screamed that something was wrong, but she silenced it. Nicholas stepped away after a comment about fetching more drinks, leaving her momentarily alone. Amanda was about to take a sip from the glass she was holding when she felt a quick movement and heard the sound of glass breaking. The champagne splashed onto her dress and the glass fell to the floor, shattering. "Don't drink that. Leave while you still can." Confused, she looked at the waiter in front of her and recognized Emmett Parker, the quiet boy who always sat by the window in comparative literature classes. "What? Why did you—" Her voice came out sluggish, still processing what had happened. "None of these people are your real friends," Emmett said, his face a mix of urgency and compassion. "They put something in your drink. They're planning to humiliate you. I'm the only one here concerned about you. Trust me. Leave now." Amanda blinked slowly, the haze of alcohol beginning to lift in light of the seriousness in his words. She looked around and noticed the surprised and irritated glances, the cell phone still pointed, Nicholas coming toward her with an angry expression. "Are you crazy? What do you think you're doing?" shouted Nicholas, reaching them. "Showing her what you really are," Emmett replied, without backing down. It was as if a veil had lifted. Amanda saw the genuine anger on Nicholas's face, the embarrassment in Vanessa's eyes, Ryan's frustration, not because Emmett had spoiled an innocent evening, but because he had ruined their plans. "Is it true?" she asked, her voice small but firm. Nicholas's momentary silence was all the confirmation she needed. "You're fired!" Nicholas spat at Emmett. "And you—" He turned to Amanda, forcing a smile. "He's overreacting. We just wanted to have a little fun." Amanda felt a sudden clarity, like cold water on a hot day. To have fun, or to laugh at me? She turned to Emmett. "Thank you." With a dignity she didn't know she possessed, Amanda grabbed her purse and walked to the exit, ignoring Nicholas's calls. Outside, the fresh night air helped clear her mind. Her hands trembled as she ordered a taxi through the app. "Are you okay?" Emmett was by her side, no longer wearing the waiter's vest, just a white shirt and black pants. "I think I just lost my job," he said with a half-smile. "Because of me." "I'm sorry," replied Amanda, a knot forming in her throat. "Don't be. That job wasn't worth my conscience." They stood in silence side by side until the taxi arrived. "Want a ride?" she offered, not exactly sure why. Emmett hesitated for a moment. "Yes, thank you." The following week the university halls felt like a minefield. Glances, whispers and giggles followed Amanda wherever she went. Nicholas and his group had spread a distorted version of the events, portraying her as a drunken girl who had made a fool of herself at the party. On Wednesday, during lunch, Amanda sat alone as usual, but soon felt someone approaching. "Can I sit here?" asked Emmett, holding his tray. Amanda nodded, surprised but grateful for the company. "How are you handling everything?" he asked after a few moments of comfortable silence. "I've been through worse," she replied with a shrug that tried to seem more carefree than she actually felt. "And you? Did you get another job?" "Still searching. But I will find something." He hesitated, playing with the fork. "You know, I always wanted to talk to you in literature class. Your essay on The Great Gatsby was amazing." Amanda stared at him, surprised. "You read my essay?" "Professor Williams read it aloud as an example, remember? Your analysis of the symbols of hope in the book. It was profound." Something warm blossomed in Amanda's chest. It wasn't just the kindness of the compliment, but the realization that Emmett had truly noticed her, not as someone to exploit, but as someone to admire. In the following weeks, they began meeting regularly in the library. Amanda discovered that Emmett worked so hard not only to help with college expenses, but also to send money to his younger sister, who dreamed of studying ballet. He discovered that Amanda secretly wrote poetry, intense and honest words that she never showed to anyone. One afternoon, while studying for their final exams, Amanda finally gathered the courage to ask what had intrigued her since the night of the party. "Why did you take a risk for me? You could have just ignored it," Emmett closed the book he was reading and looked out the library window, where the dry leaves danced with the wind. My mother always says that we are defined by the choices we make when we think no one is watching, he replied after a moment. I spent a lot of time pretending not to see the injustices around me because it was easier. That night I realized I didn't want to be that kind of person anymore. Amanda observed him, seeing beyond the quiet young man everyone ignored, perceiving the moral strength he carried without fanfare. Thank you for seeing me when I was invisible to everyone, she said, her voice almost a whisper. You were never invisible to me, he replied, his eyes meeting hers with an intensity that made her heart race. December arrived along with the end of the semester. Amanda and Emmett had become inseparable, studying together, sharing lunches, discovering they had more in common than they could have imagined. He helped her learn to say no when others tried to exploit her kindness. She encouraged him to share his ideas in class, showing that his voice mattered. On the last day of classes, walking through the campus, Emmett suddenly stopped. I got a new job, he announced, a smile lighting up his face. At the downtown bookstore, the pay is better, and the schedule will allow me more time to, well, do things that matter. That's wonderful, exclaimed Amanda, genuinely happy for him. And there's one more thing, he continued, nervousness evident in his voice. Remember that essay contest you mentioned, about contemporary literature? Amanda nodded, confused by the change of subject. I saw one of your poems in your notebook the other day, the one about second chances and new beginnings. It was so good that, well, I entered it into the contest. I hope you don't mind. You did what? Amanda's eyes widened in shock. Her poems were private, pieces of her soul she never had the courage to share. Before you get upset, Emmett quickly continued, pulling an envelope from his pocket. You should see this. Amanda took the envelope with trembling hands and opened it. It was a letter from the contest committee, informing her that her poem had been selected as a finalist and inviting her to the award ceremony next month. How did you... Words failed her. I believed in you just as you believed in me, he replied simply. Sometimes we need someone to see what we can't see in ourselves. Under the rays of the late afternoon sun, Amanda realized that something deep had changed within her. It wasn't just gratitude she felt for Emmett, but something more intense and true. You know what's funny, she said, carefully putting away the letter. That night, at Nicholas's party, I thought I would finally be accepted by people who never really cared about me. I ended up finding someone who truly cares. Emmett smiled, gently touching her hand. Sometimes, the best stories begin with an unexpected gesture. Amanda intertwined her fingers with his, feeling for the first time in a long time, truly seen and valued for who she really was. It's amazing how a knock on my glass that night could change so much, she whispered, looking at her clasped hands. As they walked together across the lawn, Amanda reflected on how a single moment of courage had transformed not just that night, but her entire life. Emmett had done more than prevent her humiliation. He had helped her find her own voice and courage. And on that snow-covered campus, two people who once felt invisible discovered that together they could face any storm that came their way. If you enjoyed the story, please leave a comment with a rating from 1 to 5 to show how much you liked it. Also, watch the video that is now appearing on your screen. See you soon.